Our topic this morning is Digital Design Center, Customer Experience, and Optimum Sales and Buyer Satisfaction. That's a lot of words, but it's really like, how do we provide an efficient and enjoyable experience on Digital Design Center and have it do what we want it to do, which is help the buyer design the home and for us to sell a lot of options along the way. We've got three great platform providers here who, and then we've got one of the poster boy practitioners in Dennis Webb. So I'm going to ask you to just give us a 60-second intro, each of you. Frank, you're first up.
Okay. Hi, I'm Frank Reed. I'm President and CEO of Aries Interactive. We're a prop tech company that helps customers. We help create customer experiences, epic customer experiences. We do everything from allowing people to purchase, shop, look for their house, design their house all online using virtual reality, photorealistic virtual tours, both from communities, and it can be online or in the design center. So that's in a nutshell.
Carolyn?
Hi, I'm Carolyn from Studio Chateau. We're an options management software system. We come from a background of part design center, part software, and so our expertise is we really understand designers meeting with homebuyers, what homebuyers want to know, what they want to see, and what will help them understand the options to purchase for their new home.
Ryan?
I'm Ryan Thornton. I'm with ECI. Originally with InSearch. ECI acquired InSearch. I co-founded InSearch about 10 years ago. InSearch is a digital sales and design center platform. And then ECI is basically the complete building system, building solution, I should say, for home builders.
Dennis?
I'm Dennis Webb. I'm Vice President of Fulton Homes. Came from the retail background. Now we took our retail things and we turned it into this design center. We've had a digital design center for 18 years now, and probably one of the more successful operations in the country.
Yeah, I think, Ryan, you've been at this a long time, but the other three folks here are kind of part of the originals group, I would say. You know, when I started to become aware of these platform technologies, when we launched Tech Home Builder in 2001, Frank was one of the, you had already been at it for 10 years. 1991. Dennis, you know, you as a practitioner, you've been on the cutting edge. And then Carolyn, you know, you were affiliated. We talk about Mike Moore as one of the spiritual godfathers for this conference, but Mike had launched Options Online.
Right.
And BDX and Options Online were two of my go-tos on the Digital Design Center side of things, but you ended up acquiring that engine and really incorporating it into your operations and then extending it out to other folks. So it's, I don't want to feel like old school and old time, but we've, you know, some of us have been at this a long time, and it's fun to have the originals here. So here's what the flow is going to be. Frank, we're going to look for each of the platform providers to kind of talk about best practices or hero customers in terms of their platforms where they are able to deliver good customer experience and optimize the sell-through. Dennis is going to give us a quick overview through a lot of slides and a lot of data points that are now pretty because I worked on them.
He is so talented. It's unbelievable. You think
the
he's
color
just good at this.
matching on that is so amazing.
It's incredible.
No flywheels for you, but Dennis is going to give us a quick tour, and then he's got like problems, issues, and solutions, and I want to get some feedback from the platform providers on Dennis's wish list. That's the way this is going to flow. I was going to incorporate some video from an interview I did with Mike Moore, but because we have 84 slides in 55 minutes, I'm not. But one of the things that Mike said, and I'd like each of you all to speak to it as you walk through what your platforms do, is his feeling is that we're not totally self-serve with Digital Design Center, that it is mostly a collaboration tool for the designers and the buyers, and that we're still a pretty long way and have to figure out how to provide some sort of design rubric up front if we're going to self-serve. That just doesn't exist today. So I think if foundationally that's what we're talking about as a collaboration between the humans using this technology, I'd love for you all to speak to that. And I think some things are being taken out of the mix for the in-person or person-to-person conversation, but it still ends up being mostly a collaborative tool. But why don't you all speak to that as you work through your presentation.
Okay.
So with that, I'm going to hand the clicker to you, Frank.
All right.
Stop talking.
Clickety-click. All right, so I already told you who I am, so I'm just going to skip through some of these slides. Other services we do, from renderings to everything else, so just, sorry?
That was just somebody in the back.
Oh, okay, sorry. Okay, so I want to talk about a client of ours, Tridel. They're a major real estate developer. They primarily build condos. In their lifetime, they've built over 85,000 condos. We've been working with them since the early 30s. They do all the virtual reality tours and renderings, and they are like a Starbucks. They charge a premium value, the premium to the market, and they really emphasize customer experience. So they have that part of the equation down pat. So 5 or 6 years ago, they approached us and said, Frank, I know you've got your VDC, or Visual Design Center. We want to up our game. At that time, they weren't doing really well with their design center. It was lacking. So I'm going to talk about some of the successes and how they've actually implemented it. And I want to emphasize one of the things that Tim Costello emphasized in his keynotes. It was, they implemented this in bite-sized chunks, little ripples at a time. You can't just go for the tsunami. Tsunami comes crashing down and it fails every time. And that's exactly what we did with them. So I want to start by showing you what their success is. So where they are today, their last development, Chateau, 120% more revenue than expected, 110% higher net promoter score, 2/3 time saved. Like, who wouldn't want to double their revenue, double their customer experience satisfaction, and save 2/3 of time? I mean, I think everyone want to do that. That's what they're actually at today. And I'm going to walk you through the journey in terms of how they got there. So talk about a little bit of their challenges and then the stages. So the first stage, we analyzed how they were doing selections, and they were very decentralized. So project managers decided what choices they're going to offer for this particular building over this particular building. There was no centralized merchandising. There was no centralized sales design center. Everything was decentralized, and this project manager had a good relationship with this contractor. They would go with them, et cetera, and it created problems. Like, a customer would come in and buy a $1,500 refrigerator in this development, buy it in the other development half a year later, and it's $2,200. I'm like, why is the price different? And that's because the markup from this project manager was different than the markup from this project manager. And it created all kinds of these customer experience problems. So one of the things they decided to do is, we're going to merchandise this, get it to the design centers, and everything was done in pieces. There was no integration on phase one. I know I talked to a lot of people that came by our booth yesterday. One of the topics, hot topics, integration. Yeah, that is extremely important. But do that in the second phase. Pilot first. Try it. Learn from your mistakes. And then you actually implement. Because when you try to go for the tsunami, things come crashing down. So that's what we did. Phase one, no integration. We did that in phase two. So let me go in and talk about okay, so some of the challenges they were facing, I think I mentioned them. It was average customer service on the design center, exceptional on sales and marketing, average on design center, expensive non-centralized design centers, as I mentioned. So we started with VDC packages, which is, there's your designer package at the top, and basically created the platform that consumer, and I'm going to have a video that's going to play for you right now, that they can actually make those selections. So they used this for 2 to 3 years. They did about 5 developments. They learned a ton from it. Higher operational efficiencies, higher customer satisfaction rates, and how many people would actually be self-sufficient. And the number is phenomenal. So I'm going to get to that in a second. So we're going to answer the question. So this is a quick 1-minute video to walk you through what the process is. Person would get an email, hey, time to do your design selections. There's your color boards. We transform those into actual photorealistic renderings. Someone can actually see what their kitchen's going to look like. So you can create as many selections as you want. Here you can see the different color packages. And whatever the comparison is between the color packages, someone can compare them. Looking at this as the kitchen, they can do the same thing in the bathroom. You look like you have a question there.
I do. I'm just like, are they starting with these color boards?
Instead of color boards, they're transformed into renderings. So they don't see the color boards. They're actually just seeing the finished images. So because people can't understand, interpret what they're seeing. Mm-hmm. They're seeing, this is what my kitchen's going to look like. This is what my bathroom's going to look like. As opposed to, I don't get it. I can't visualize that.
Do they put that together, though? I mean, are they able to bounce back and forth? This was one of Mike's points, is that like you need to kind of do basic color board, color integration, education in order for them to feel proficient playing around with stuff. So that's why I'm curious.
Yeah,
you're saying they just jump right into the options
they jump right
as they're
in.
articulated.
They don't have to be a designer. They don't have to try to interpret. They see it.
Yeah.
They visualize it in actual scenes.
Yeah.
And the end result, I mean, I just skipped through a whole bunch of stuff. I don't know if people were watching it. Before I jump to the slide, this allowed people, and I'll show you the results in a second. Yep. This allowed people to visualize their kitchens, their bathrooms, say, hey, I'm happy with this. Pick an a la carte option. I think that was a thermostat they were picking. Check out via credit card and DocuSign, all online. And then that screen there, the designer would review it, make sure there's no errors, no mistakes, finalize, send to construction. And the send to construction was a manual process to start. Again, this is phased-in approach. Baby steps, learn, improve. Some of the results, 600 unit, 95% of people pick their selections online. 95%. No designer, no staff, 95% of people made their selections online. Completed them in 4 weeks. Yep, 4 weeks. Typically, one designer would take 60 weeks to do 600 units. They did that in 4 weeks. Because it's, I could send out an email that says to all my people, do your selections. The most effort they had to do was chase people. Hey, check your inbox. Did you get the email? Got to make your selections. So that was most of the effort because anybody can go online. Everyone can go online, buy some on Amazon. You don't, everyone can do it at the same time. Massive operational efficiencies, cost savings, obviously from that. So some of the numbers, 15% of people purchased the $5,000 upgrade package. So that's not big numbers, but this is the starting point. They wanted to learn, understand what people would do. $450K, which turns out, and they're asking 100% margin. So some of the options were not just the thermostat. It's, upgrade the high value options like upgrade the den door to a French door, something like that.
So they're on the platform. They've got to make selections just as part of the purchase process, period, from a design perspective. And then we've got these options that are popping up in front of them, or
right.
Yeah,
exactly.
Okay.
So 225K. So that was the VDC package. Did this for about 2 to 3 years, 5 developments, and they said, okay, we're ready to take this to the next level. We want to amp this up. We want to go for exceptional customer service. We want, provide much more choice. We want to increase our upgrade sales, improve operational efficiency even further. So again, it's a ripple. Do one step at a time. Had great success let's take it to the next level. So the next phase was using our VDC Pro, which is fully 100% a la carte. You can do anything you want from material choices to pricing, everything in between. So we started with more finish up, digitized thousands of their options. And again, this is phase 1. So we created phase 2, which we used vignettes of scenes. So we didn't create full virtual tours of all their homes because, a lot of developers say, I got 500 models. How am I going to digitize all 500 models? It's incredible cost. It's going to take a long time. No, you don't do that. You can just do vignettes. So you might look at your product line and say, hey, I can get away with 10 kitchens and 10 bathrooms or 3 bathrooms. And just like you have vignettes inside your design center, you don't build full models inside your design center. You have these little vignettes. You create these virtual vignettes, which allow people to see and visualize what their options are going to look like. So this was part of phase 2. Phase 3, which is upcoming, is going to be the next level, which is the full virtual tour, which I'll get into in a few minutes as well. And another thing that they did, and this is really important, they standardized the construction offerings across all their developments. They took the power away from the project managers, gave it to the design center, merchandise it, like Dennis is saying. They created this incredible 9,000 square foot facility, right? So the bricks and the clicks, they had both. Created this incredible $9,000, looks just like, retail shop, had that retail shop and experience to it, centralized it. Now the merchandisers treated this like a retail center. So that was really important. And they standardized across the company. It's not just the platform, it's the processes had to be changed too. Again, don't go for the tsunami, just, you have to plan this out, bite-sized chunks. So here's a quick video of how that works. So this is a vignette you're seeing. Basically, you can go in and it'll start here you can start a new selection. You can still start with curated packages, so you pick a selection. And now what you're going to see is this kitchen doesn't have an island. It asks if someone's adding an island, so we can show physical structural options. So now I bring in the island, and it's hard to see there, but there's prices coming up. You can actually see the pricing coming up, including the mortgage impact. So if I'm, approved for a $3,000 mortgage and I'm at $2,500 for the base model, I have $500 that I can actually spend, and I can actually see the impact of each product that I'm picking, and I can remove it. There I just showed a dependency. One of the reasons we were saying about that self-sufficiency, with this system, we put in these business rules, these dependency rules. So what happens is, when someone's picking that range and they want to expand it from a 24 to 36, we physically change it. It expanded, you saw it there, and it says, hey, you have to change your hood fan. So it changed the hood fan automatically for you. Just like if you're shopping for a car and you say, I want to get 20-inch rims, well, the rubber's going to change to 20 inches as well. You're not going to get an 18-inch rim with 20-inch rim with 18-inch rubber. So the same thing happens in the system. So it makes it very self-reliant. So numbers on that are incredible as well. So, but just before I get into those numbers, I'll show a little bit of the mortgage impact. The pricing, and it was mentioned several times in the last sessions, transparency. People want to see what the price is, and this is all real-time pricing. So there's no, let me get back to you in 2 days, and then someone's got to figure out and give you the price, and that person's humming and hawing, thinking about it. It's instant on. So it's more work for the developer up front. They have to do their takeoffs. The system is great. Computers are great at calculating math. You got to say this is $12 a foot, and this is 500 square feet, and the system will compute it for you. Someone's just got to put those takeoffs in, and the system will generate it. That's what computers do great at.
So you're showing monthly payment effect versus like a straight dollar, because it's going to be more consumed as a monthly payment.
Yeah, absolutely. And they did something really brilliant, in my opinion. So they said, if you spend $10,000 in upgrades, the first $10,000 upgrades, you have to pay 100% up front. So you got to write for a check for 10 grand. If you buy over $10,000, you only have to give us a 20% deposit, and the rest can go on your mortgage. So now, if you're a buyer and you're at $9,500 in upgrades, hey, I got to write a check for $9,500. Let me add $501, and I only have to give you $2 grand, and the rest I can put on my mortgage, which I can take 25 years to pay off if I wanted to.
Yeah.
So what that effectively does, it takes your $10,000 and now makes it 50 grand worth. So I have 10 grand in the bank. I can either write a $10,000 check and pay for it, or I can use that as a 20% deposit to 50 grand in upgrades. So guess what? They're going to sell way more upgrades because now that dollar goes further. And I can see what the bank has pre-approved me. So just making some of those business fundamental changes increases what
Sell-through rates.
right,
Yeah.
they can spend a lot more. And the time that people spend on it, we have people, statistics, 50, 60 hours. Me and my wife can sit there and argue and fight about color selection. You know, the stuff, I want white, I want black. You argue all you want. You could make hundreds of selections. I can even have I share this to my friends. My friends could even make the selections for me. And then I can say, you know what, I want Bob's. Bob's is the favorite. And then I can set up design center appointments, do DocuSign, and all the rest of it. I
Yep.
know
How much more you
I'm
got?
gonna-
We got to wrap up. We got to
I
keep
know,
going.
I'm gonna go real fast. Just look at some of the stats. Their first building, 70% more revenue, a third of the time saved. That was the first one implemented this way. Chateau, I already talked about these numbers. This is subsequent buildings. They've done, I think, 10 others since then.
Yeah.
Another one of our clients, 95% completed online, 67% time saved, average sale 13 grand, 400K profit based on 100% or 30% margin. Here's another scenario, another one of our clients. They use this virtual design center on the sales side. 737,000 new users last year, 13,000 registrations, 4 minutes and 51 cents. This is on the sales side. So you can use this to help your sales and marketing efforts.
Are you a numbers guy by any chance?
No.
Okay. Let's keep going,
Okay,
Frank.
I'm almost-
Are you almost there? Go ahead.
Yeah, almost done. I just wanted to show real quick the next evolution of this, because I think it was Tim that talked about
Yeah.
the next stage of this. So this, you can actually, Tim actually showed this video, full virtual model tours.
Yeah.
This is actually real-time recorded right off, oops, I skipped it if I go back. This is recorded real-time right off our laptop on the trade show floor. How come it's not playing?
I don't know. Maybe we don't have it teed up. I think we're out of time, though.
Anyway,
but
okay.
it's cool stuff. I think, calculating out the economic effects is awesome. The thing that struck me, your crawl, walk, run,
Yeah,
fly
absolutely.
thing. But like, even if and I know a lot of us are getting back to personalization after supply chain kind of took that out of the equation, but just to do the design selections without upselling. Now you are personalizing a home for somebody just based on some colors and some choices within the range for the base package. So your digital design center functionality starts there, and people start to become involved, and you get the personalization plus, but then you could start to build on top of that the ability to upsell the options. So I think it's an interesting strategy that you had with that client that could be in effect for some folks who are just getting back to personalization.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's really important, to walk before you run, or crawl, walk, run.
Yep.
You can't get too hung up on. If there's anything you learned from this, is that's the best way to try to implement. And pilot. Like, it's really important, because you're going to learn a lot, and then maybe in your market it doesn't work. All right, you don't know. I mean, you have to try it, and then you're going to learn a lot from the pilot, and then you're going to tweak and implement after there. That would probably be my best advice: is pilot and hire two companies. You never know. Put them, like we're doing that right now. Major builders doing that right now with us and BDX on a couple of pilots. Let's try both. See how it works out. And maybe, we're big enough that we can use both platforms.
Trials and pilots are
Yeah,
keys to
it's-
innovation.
absolutely.
Carolyn, why don't you take the clicker?
I'm taking the clicker. And I was going to say, I just want to go off on that is I think none of these programs are all mutually exclusive. I think, as builders, as you go through and you look and see everything that's available to you out there, you need to design the program that's best for you. And that may be a little bit of this, a little bit of this, a little bit of this, and create the program. Because I think that is the key to a successful options program, is finding what works for your company. What systems are flexible enough, which ones have enough customization to help you create the atmosphere that you want for your home buyers. So I do come from the Mike Moore School of Thought, in that, home buyers, I think they need designers, and I think they need designer help in curating these packages together, whether you're a builder that goes with your going packages and those are done beforehand, or meeting with a home buyer. So that's kind of my take on the Mike Moore thing.
Right?
So Studio Chateau, at Studio Chateau, we're a complete options management system. What that means is we have 7 different modules that can be mixed and matched together to create whatever program it is. So it's beautiful. If you're interested in using the options catalog part and nothing else, you can do that. If you just want flooring, you can do that. It's all into what your home buyer and the experience that you're looking for them. So let's just start really quickly. I'm going to go through, in my perfect scenario, of course, a client would use every single module from start to finish. The reality is most of our clients use parts of everything. There are some that use all of them, but the majority are picking and choosing what they want to use. So we start with the options catalog, and the option catalogs are custom designed for each community that you work with. And what that means is you get to decide, you work with your marketing department, and we'll help you along, is to create a catalog that's retail driven to create the experience for your home buyer. Meaning you're going to use wording for them that is familiar to them. It's not going to be any tech jargon. It's not going to be abbreviated because it's an accounting program that will only print out so many characters. You will have full color pictures, and you have a multitude of pictures and video available for each option.
How much work is it to get, manufacturer cut sheets into consumer-facing language? Is that a big chunk of your time, or are they getting better at providing you with consumer-facing language?
You know what, they're much better these days. It used to be very difficult to get that information. Now, with the internet, it's pretty easy.
Well, good.
So, now I know that sounds like a lot of work, but we have really worked on the past couple years a lot of shortcuts to do copies and downloads from Excel spreadsheets. If you're using an accounting program where you start creating your options, we can take that information, upload it, and again, work on those retail descriptions that home buyers are seeing. Also within the catalogs is you can create options by adding lots of different vendors to one option. Not everything has to be a separate deal that has to be selected. So in this example here, this is a room option, and you've got the electrician, the plumber, the painter, cabinet guy. Everybody's on there. If you're using the back office system with that, what that means is all that information, when this option is selected, is automatically going out to all your subs. And so it's really saving you a lot of back office time processing paperwork because all that's automated.
Awesome. It's nice to talk about the back end.
Yeah.
Front end experience is great for the buyer. It sells more stuff, but we got to handle the back end efficiently, right?
We do.
Yeah.
We do. We have to make it work. So this is something that is great for the home buyer experience, and these are drag and drop placement diagrams that we do. And so these are for the types of options wherever home buyers have a choice of where things go. So that would be your electrical, your low voltage. We have people doing furniture placement with these. So that you just drag and drop, and it keeps adding up the price as you select each cam light in a room. And then this can all be turned into an order at the end of the day.
My dream for the tech side of things, for you, for a long time, since I stopped by and visited you many years ago, is that you will stop using the term low voltage.
Okay. What do you want me to say?
Call it smart home or
Smart
home
home,
technology,
okay.
but who wants low voltage? I know that in the industry, but no consumers out there saying, hey, where's my low voltage? I want high voltage. If I got to choose my level of voltage, I want the high stuff.
I want
So
the
it's
good
just
stuff.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
That's pet peeve.
We've also developed some tools to help designers as they work with clients. Our surface diagrams is a workspace where designers can go in and actually draw countertop and surround drawings on the computer. This does it in perspective, so when the vendors get it, it all looks correct to them, and they love it because they're no longer trying to decipher the handwritten things. It also has specific fields that a designer needs to fill in order to complete it. So she can't forget her grout colors, things like that. And again, all of this is improving the home buyer's experience, because all of this makes the designer so much faster. And if you're working online, all of it can be sent via DocuSign right through Studio Chateau. There's also a section in there where we call lot documents, where the designer can upload things like these diagrams, and the home buyer has the access to it as well. So everybody's viewing everything in real time. We also have a complete flooring module. So the great part about this and the customer experience is that you can create on-the-fly estimates while you're in an appointment with a home buyer, whether that's virtual or in person. So the designer goes through, she enters all of her products, it automatically prices it for each area, and at the same time creates this flooring diagram that the home buyer can see what products are going in what areas. It gives all of that information to the home buyer. Retail pricing, there's a mortgage calculator there where they can just put in whatever their rate is going to be. Hopefully it'll go down soon.
This is a big category for dollars, right?
It's
the original option, right?
Yes,
Flooring.
it's
and,
huge.
Yeah, and it's also really central from a decor and design perspective, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you've built a robust set of tools around the flooring piece, which makes sense.
Exactly, and to make it easy for designers to not make mistakes. With a system like this, one of the biggest things we found with working on our designer side is forgotten extra charges. Forgot to that, oh, if you draw it on diagonal, you have to charge for that. You forgot that you have to add an underlayment, all of these things. This program adds all of that for you. It's all set up ahead of time. And so your designers don't have to worry about remembering all that. They just know the price that comes out. It includes everything that they need in it.
Yeah. So just like Frank had some business rules where they're gonna change the design, you've got them there, right?
We've got them too, yes.
Makes money.
It makes you money because if you want to, you can charge markup on those extra charges too. So, we do have a room visualizer. Of course, it's everything that Frank said. You need to be able to look at it and see what the differences are and understand. This one, the home buyers can play with at home, and you have a choice. We have some clients that use their model images in there, so people can change the colors there. Some prefer to go with more of a generic image and use that across the board. And again, these are things that we're talking about, flexibility and customization. You get to choose which one you want to use. Mentioned before, back office automation. It's very important that you have a system in place that can send out all of those purchase orders, and also follow up with vendors to make sure that they receive that information and looked at it. With this type of system, and I know there are others out there as well, vendors can't come back to you and say, I didn't know that option was supposed to be on this house, because you can actually go in and look and see, did they view that option, and when's the first time they saw it, and how many times have they looked at it? And it's pretty hard for them to say they didn't know about it when they viewed it 5 times. So that's been a big help.
But they can still do it. They'll still say it.
They can try. So, and here we have the all-important integrations. It's very important, whatever system you use, is that it work in conjunction with other existing systems that are important to you. You need to make sure that your platform will accept information and export information in a variety of functions, whether that's a daily download, a live download, an Excel spreadsheet that you get every Friday, whichever one that it is. Again, that's important to make everything run smoothly. And then this is for the executives and the managers, is it's also very important with your system to have reporting capabilities. You need to verify the results that you're getting. You need to be able to see that your sales are increasing. You need to make sure that you're profitable, that you have the right margins and markup on all your products. You need to be able to see which products are popular, which ones never sell, because it's an interesting thing. You'll talk to designers and they'll point out what their favorites are. You can go into the system and take a look and say, well, this one's actually only been sold twice. And sometimes they're surprised too.
Yep. And you have dashboards for yourself or your clients that have profitability modules in there? Can you look
Yes.
at profitability by category?
Yeah, you can do profit. What we're showing here is just what are the top sellers.
Yeah.
But yes, it'll go through and it'll show you which ones are most profitable and which communities you're working on.
Neat. Good stuff.
Yeah,
We'll move on to Ryan now. Thank you.
there we
Carol.
go.
Thank you. All right, so yeah, I'm going to mimic most of what my fellow panelists, and also even throughout the week, I think a lot of great information has come through, and I think it's it's a consistent message, I think, for the whole week and everything that we've all been talking about, and even integrating with we're more than happy to integrate with each other as well too. There's a lot of really nice features and really great things that everybody else has provided as well too, and I think when you look at InSearch, we're software first, so you can basically consider it as a vehicle to house all of this other information. So if you don't use us for the graphics configurators, things like that, you can still consider somebody else, and we can actually bring that in, and that's how we built our platform with InSearch. So really, I think the main goal here, I already introduced InSearch a little bit here, but I think the main goal is to, speaking to John's point earlier as well, is not only empowering the home buyer, but empowering your sales and design agents as well too with the software. So not only does the software embed on your website and lets the buyer engage on their own time, but then when they do come into the sales centers and design centers, they're also using that exact same software. So your sales team, your design team is using the same software that the home buyer is already familiar with. So really the main difference there is the design agents are actually making the actual selections there. And when you integrate with like our other products with ECI and Mark Systems, all that information is now automatically getting pushed back into the ERP. So you can go on and create your POs, contracts, so on and so forth. So all of that is integrated together. And when you look at ECI globally, that's our main goal right now, is creating that full ecosystem. And I'll actually show just a quick example here. This is all the gray boxes. This is all of the ECI current products right now. So you have Mark Systems, and then you have InSearch and LotView and Lasso. Lasso is the leading CRM. What we've been working hard toward, especially this year, is integrating all these platforms. So when you create a lead in InSearch, it's automatically going into Lasso to let your sales team nurture them. It's also even creating prospects in the ERP, so you can actually assign that prospect to a lot and then move into the design center and make all those selections. So really creating all those connections, and then even on the outer sides there, the integrations with all of the other companies as well too. And kind of to that point, this is one of my favorite quotes. Content without intent is noise. Intent without content is decoration. So when you consider all that data, like if you have bad data, it's going to look bad to your home buyers. So you need to integrate all those together, make sure all of that information is accurate, and to some extent, it puts the onus on purchasing as well too, to have that accurate data, because now we've been talking about transparency all week. Well, what does that mean? You need to have accurate pricing in order to be transparent. So all that information, and all it needs to connect together. And then again, this is kind of another example of all the different softwares that ECI houses. And actually, this slide is only 10% of what actually ECI has as a whole. So we have lumber and all that as well too, that we're actually working to integrate. So you can actually start incorporating your suppliers, and then you have your contractors, and everybody is all combined and all using the same information and same system. So just to recap real quick, specifically on the in-search side, these are really the four main key points that we focus on and we strive to, that we're striving, working towards. So I'm going to look at a specific example here with Mastercraft Builders out in Florida. So they had some specific challenges that they had. So when they came to ECI, they had some specific challenges with lack of real-time pricing. They had the siloed marketing, sales, and operations, which I had touched on a little bit earlier. And then also, too, 60% of their market was out of state, so they had no way of reaching them. So effectively, when they did implement InSearch, they increased their market size by quite a lot. And then they were able to actually reduce those appointment times and even the costly, having the buyers have to actually come in to have the meetings and everything. They reduce those times as well. So their solution, they're actually using Mark Systems, Lasso, and InSearch. So InSearch being the digital design center and sales side, Lasso the CRM, and Mark Systems that ERP. So what happened with that? The solution was, these are the results. This is the impact of what they had. So they increased their home sales. They turned their 3-day selection, it might be cut off a little bit, but they reduced their 3-day on-site selections down to 3 hours. So and a lot of it has to do with when you look at when that person buys that house, and then you can email out that digital design center to them. They're able to sit at home on their own time and actually start making all their selections and everything. So by the time they do come into your studio, they know they like white cabinets, black hardware, but then you're still actually empowering that design agent to basically even upsell them and show them all those upgrades. So ultimately that's going to actually increase the profits as well too. That's just the recap of everything. So ultimately they had 2.4 times more homes sold with better customer experience. So I'm going to show this. This is actually what some screenshots basically of their website previous to incorporating all the interactive tools. So a lot of you may be familiar with this. These cards still work really well. But on that bottom left-hand side, when you click that, what you got was a static PDF of just a generic PDF. You didn't even have to fill out any information. A buyer could just be browsing and grab that information, and then they could just go on their way, and you can't really track them at all. So what we did is when we incorporated our interactive sales side, so we incorporated all the interactive site maps and then also into the interactive floor plans, incorporating pricing and everything like that. So what you're seeing here is if somebody were to go on your website and then they go through the site, they can actually go through and then configure their plan. You can actually see the pricing is incorporated, the mortgage calculators are incorporated. I'll take a quick step back here, and we've talked about the competition is not really your fellow builders now, it's the used housing market. Well, I'll even add to that too, and you're competing with how consumers buy everything else as well now too. So they want that Amazon buying experience. They want to have all this information in front of them. I understand it is scary to reveal all your pricing and everything, and we talked about transparency and everything as well. But the nice thing with our software too is you can actually turn the pricing off and you can run it for a month and then see what that did, and then you can turn it back on, and then you can so you can actually play with all the different features and everything, turning them off and on, and see and actually look at the analytics and see what works best and actually see what products are.
And you guys have
being selected,
witnessed the A/B testing on that stuff, and you would say the prices should be shown, correct?
100%, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, we're seeing 40.
So you're offering this option for people who aren't yet willing to face the truth, that
Yeah.
people want to see the price, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we've talked about it. I mean, it's a process. Like you need to have accurate data and everything as well too. So it's kind of a holistic approach.
Yeah.
You
don't want to put forward
purchasing
prices that you don't have certainty about.
Yeah.
Got it.
And I think too, when you look at it as well too, so especially when we connect with the ERP, it went really spec heavy. But when you incorporate all that into the front-facing software, the buyer is still getting a ton of information. When they click on a lot and they go to customize, well, that plan is going to be already configured to what's being built and what products and everything are actually in that house. So they actually get a really good idea. They can still see what that mortgage is going to cost for that specific house and everything.
Good.
So this was their digital design center before. So it was basically just a list of features that they had on there. So
What was it? It was a PDF that
it was-
downloaded off of
you couldn't even
website?
can't even
That's
actually
very
download
digital.
it. It was just it was just on the website. So so this is their design center now. So we focus on for the main thing that we do is we categorize everything by room first and then category. And the main reason that we do that is you're now, when you email this design center out, you're not supervising the buyer as much anymore. So that initial interaction, when you send this out, they can almost fumble their way through the house now. They can click on the kitchen. Now they know they're not going to see the 2,000 lights or whatever that you guys offer. They're going to see the specific pendants that are offered in that kitchen, so they can make a selection, and then they can move forward from there. And our
Are they
system actually checks
prepackaging
off,
it,
though.
or is it just select from the long list?
We don't actually see, most of our clients don't package. We see a little bit of both.
This is
but
an
it's-
interesting debate, you know.
It is.
To package or not. And last year we had Gina from KB here, and they have limited selections. They don't package.
Yeah.
So it's
And also,
it's an ongoing
yeah.
choice, I guess, and it would be
Yeah.
great to have some rules around when to package and when not to. But
Yeah.
maybe we can work on that together, because everyone wants to collaborate
Yeah.
at the table.
And I would argue, too, that the Design Center software allows you to not have to package either, because you're easily able to now display all those different options. We have clients that have, they have 5,000 different countertops. And,
Yeah.
it's just...
The only
having
question
them-
is whether the buyer gets just overwhelmed by too much choice. I don't know. How do you
Exactly,
feel
yeah.
about that? Because you have the advantage of being a lab, because you do the technology for yourself and your builder clients locally there as well. So
I would say most buyers, there are buyers that want a package. There are those types of buyers that walk in and they want to be able to pick from A, B, or C, and it's all curated, and there's that type of buyer. But there's an awful lot of buyers out there that they want to pick every single option in their home. This is their new home. They're excited about it. And so they want software that you can go through and pick everything out. So.
you can weigh in.
Let the buyers decide.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why should we decide for our buyers? We don't know. They do. Ask them.
Yeah.
Okay? We offer packages. If they want packages, they can do packages. You know how many people take packages? 0.
Well, Mike,
If they want to
like-
change this, they want to personalize this. I like the package, but
Mike Moore likes to say, "Their ugly is better than your beautiful." So I mean, I guess.
I think the other thing with packages too is what I've found on our design side is you go in with the packages and you're limiting these selections with all the supply chain issues that we've had inevitably halfway through with packages. Then you start to have issues with some of those items being selected because you're going to have limited supply, and so then you're having to change the packages and make substitutes, and then that you've just turned it into a nightmare.
How are we doing on your slides there,
Good.
Ryan?
We're just about done here. Just to round it out here. So when the buyer does come into the design center and they're sitting with a design agent, they're able to create those build sheets. So our build sheets have all the images and everything as well. So we're actually finding our build sheets landing out in the field, because now that specific lot, you can actually, the supplier or the sub can actually see, that the black faucet was selected, or so you're minimizing mistakes there too. Right-hand side, that's actually the direct push that we have that created with Mark Systems. So that pushes straight into the addendums, which then moves on to your POs, contracts, all that stuff as well too. I'll just finish off real quick with another quick example of a client's website. So this is Esperanza Homes. Our software is embedded right within the page, so you can see this here. And then you can actually see in a second here our exterior configurator in here as well too. So when that buyer's done making all their selections, they can actually go and go into the configurator, and everything's housed right within that software. So everything's right in front of the buyer. We have a gadget section that we have on the right-hand side that you can have your virtual tours and all that in there. And we even see lender websites. Buyers or builders are wanting to put lenders' websites on there, so when they click into it in our software, they can actually get pre-approved right off of the page as well too. So they can go through there and everything's right in front of them. So I'll skip that one here. And here's just a couple examples of how a couple of our clients are actually leveraging our software within the sales centers too. So they have the kiosks. And then the right-hand side there, that's one of our clients that use our design center. So they run our design center off of a tablet and then project it to a TV, and the client sits on that left-hand side. Behind them, there's actually a 3,000 square foot physical design center as well too. So our software shows you all the faucets. They have a set of faucets that give you that tactile feeling of a black, a chrome, a satin, whatever it is. So you still get that tactile feeling, but then you ultimately make that selection within the software.
Very cool. All right. Thank you, Dennis. We've got 15 minutes. You have a lot of slides. We could have a conversation. You could respond. What do you want to do?
Let me go through the slides quickly.
Yeah, okay.
And then we'll kind of talk about stuff. Because I think what we need to do is we need to put the human factor in here.
Yeah.
We need to really talk about the buyer experience. And we tend to be too technical in our industry. And I think we need to look in terms of what we need to do to get our customer connected and really talk about our customer as they're seeing the world. And we've been doing this digital design center for a long time. I'm not sure if anyone's had a digital design center for 17 years. And the big problem with our industry is very few people have digital design centers. How do we get them to use? How do we get this message across to builders that, hey, this is you're going to make a lot of money by doing this thing? And they go, yeah, it's great, we really like it, but it's just too hard, And I think we need to kind of figure out as an industry how to get the message to those people, and so we can help them help themselves, and they don't really know what they're missing.
It's too hard because it takes too much time to build it?
Well, they think they do, but I've talked to people all over the country, and they say, God, what you guys do is awesome. Congratulations, we can't do it. Oh, why can't you do it? Well, we don't have the resources. We don't either, This whole digital design center was built by two people, and neither of them were in purchasing.
You're right.
And so our digital design center wasn't even touched by anyone for purchasing until 6 years after we opened.
So how do we help people understand that?
Like things like this.
What you all are trying to get more builders to adopt this. So are you able to spec for them what the time contribution or the resource because that seems to me like there's the price of the platform. I don't think that's out of the ballpark for anybody, but they're thinking about their people's time. And people are already doing too much. So can we specify how much time it takes to get X, Y, and Z done on design?
Well, I think also the industry needs to make it easier. It's you guys, you're terrific and you're great software developers, but make this simple. Mm-hmm. You just got to simplify everything. Our buyer is not going to go through all this stuff. They're used to going on Amazon. They're used to going on Zillow. They're used to going on Carvana and things like that. We have to adapt their ideas and their technologies. We can't sit there and be an island. So let me kind of go through a few slides and we'll kind of talk about this. So this is our first slide is our visualizer, and we kind of show. We take 12 kitchens, and it's amazing. If we have 120 floor plans, if you take 12 kitchens, it represents about 95% of the floor plans.
That's the right way of doing it. Yep.
It's a great way of doing it. If you have one scene, it's not enough.
Right.
But 12 seems to be the magic number.
It's very cost effective.
It is, yeah, because we can't really. If you had to do 120 floor plan scenes, of course you guys would love it. But
that's a lot of work
the
for us.
builder would cry.
How do you make it easier for people? You keep it
Right.
simple. Start simple.
And then the buyer, of course, can change the cabinet colors and change all the cabinets and all that kind of stuff. And this stuff feeds from Envision, so the prices are there and stuff like that. So it's a pretty sophisticated program, and it works really well. The customers love it. It's similar to what you guys do, but if you have a good selection, this is our light selection in our design center, and we kind of show a bunch of stuff. Here's how we show granite. So granite, when you have a little sample on a swatch and on screen, you can't see what it looks like. So then you go to the design center and you got this. Oh, it's much bigger. It's 4 by 6 inches, not feet, right? And so we show these are 18 by 48 inch pieces. because granite has different veins and different ways of looking at it, and you can't tell from a swatch. So although the Digital Design Center is terrific, it's not great for everything. Some of the colors don't come out right and things like that.
Bigger is better on this one.
No question.
Yeah.
And then we have 12 kitchens in this, so we have 12 big slabs of granite, plus islands, plus this, so the buyer gets a good idea what the thing looks like. We incorporate, this is actually a kiosk in our design center, where we have the digital stuff, and we have different scenes, and we put on our visualizer, and they can go through our software program and vision and stuff like that. Here's how we show plank tile. Plank tile is 75% of our flooring upgrades is plank tile right now. It's huge. And so we've really concentrated on that. We have a browse night every other Thursday night. We invite people over. We kind of say, okay, let's have fun. Let's
But those are
party.
HTS guests from last year, Dennis.
It is. It is. So we had a mere
Take
200.
whatever picture you could get.
Yeah, we had 120 people at our design center one night, and they were drinking copious amounts of alcohol.
No,
They hated it.
not this
It
group.
was just awful, you know.
But they didn't
So-
have funny sweaters on.
No, that's true, and it was a more sophisticated group. But I think everyone, the whole idea of your business, you've got to have fun. You've got to be in the entertainment business. You've got to make this thing fun, and people spend more money when they're having more fun. Here we are again, the same evening. That's our lighting room and things like that. This is one of my favorite slides. So we do $45 million in our design center. We have 13,000 square feet, so that adds up to $3,461 a foot sales. Pretty good. So the top is Apple. They say they sell these phone things or something. I don't know. You've probably seen them, you know. So I'll go back here. And then we have Murphy USA. It's a convenience store, mostly in the Midwest, and they're in shopping. They're in gas stations. And then there's us. And then below us is Tiffany. They sell these things in blue boxes. And then there's Lululemon, and then Nordstrom. You've heard of, and their headquarters right here, right here, not far from here. Their flagship store is a block away, and they do $506 per square foot. So we do 7 times more dollars per square foot in our store than Nordstrom. So we're pretty happy about that. We measure our sales associates with what % they sell on options, even though our designers are selling options. The salespeople have such a strong effect. We want them to make sure that we're watching them, things like that. So we ask our customers, we talk about this, how many options should you carry? So 164 people say we're just right, 15 people say there's too few, and 9 people say there's too many. You think that we're okay? Or should we let the purchasing department decide if they think there's too many options?
There's been a lot of purchasing bashing at this event.
They are great people. I really like
You don't
them.
get that at Tech Home Builder. There's no bashing on the purchasing folks there.
Oh, there's too many of them. They'd have a riot. They would overthrow the government. You know, they'd be like China or something.
Purchasing people are people too.
Some are. The purchasing people have their things. They shouldn't be running your options programs. It's options sales are a sales and marketing tool, not a purchasing tool. Purchasing people are really good at rebates, and they're really good at cutting costs. They're not that good at sales. Know more about purchasing. We ask people when they come to the design center if they're prepared or somewhat prepared or very prepared, and of course, people are very prepared.
How long are your sessions typically?
4.5 hours per design set per appointment. And it varies, but we schedule them differently and we analyze them differently and things like that. Here's our designer rating. So we go from 3.75 to 3.3. So these are really high marks. Our designers do a great job. We ask the customers what website features they use because we kind of want to know. And of course, the first one is Online Design Center is by far #1. And then interactive floor plans is up there, and online docs, and options wish list, and warranty requests, and things like that. Virtual tours are big. We use Matterport tours. We have 75 tours on our website. We measure option to base price percentage by design center, by designer, and we measure kind of that. This is my favorite. It's sales per hour. We measure our designers in sales per hour. Very few people do that because they don't want to see the results, and the results are pretty scary. When you have one designer that sells somebody $10,000 an hour, and in the same thing, in the same design center, they have another one that sells somebody $17,000 per hour. Who do you want waiting on that customer? I want the $17,000 gal, she's
Do you
terrific.
have this dashboard up on a CRM? Is it socialized so that there's social pressure on the salespeople?
We give it to them every month, or every quarter, actually. We run these reports every quarter. We give it to all the salespeople so they can see exactly where we are. Then we talk to them.
Salespeople are people too.
Yeah. And then we talk to the designers and we kind of say, okay, these are the things you're really great at. These are things you should look at and things like that.
It's a coaching tool.
We measure everything.
Yeah.
We average sale, so our average sale, so by designer, so one designer sells somebody $65,000, and one designer sells somebody $54,000. It's a big difference if you take that over, a bunch of appointments. We kind of average day to finalize, and we kind of want to make sure that we, get that information in, because then we can move on with our thing. So we're averaging about 4 days total, which isn't bad, because a lot of people don't want to finalize. We barcode all our merchandise, and so when somebody comes in on a browse night, they can take their phone and put it on the merchandise, and it goes to their wish list, and the designers can look at it, the price is there, and everything like that. I think we're the only one in the country that does this. It's a great tool. How do you measure what you need for the store? And this is a retail thing. So this is plank tile, and we do $2.5 million in plank tile. And these are the groups. So the first group, our largest group is group 7, then it's group 4 or 5, and then group 10. And then we have the stock we have is the amount of things and the percentage, and then the ideal is kind of what we should have, and then the open to buy is 11. We need 11 pieces of tile that we need to get in the design center. So Stephen, our design center manager, will find, 11 pieces in those groups, and we'll put it in the design center. That's how we merchandise the store. It's a retail approach. Great way to do it. And if you want to hear more about it, I'll talk to you about it. It's a great tool. It really helps us get everything balanced. Time and hours on digital websites. We go back to 2013. Our buyers were spending 5 hours. Then they were spending 5.23. And when we put flooring pricing on our website in 2015, so that was 7 years ago, and it jumped up to 6 hours. Kind of got okay, and then all of a sudden in 2018, we came across version 2.0 in our Envision process, and it jumped again because the program was much better. It was more user-friendly.
Time on the digital design center element of your website, right?
Yeah. And then,
That's a lot of time.
And then the pandemic hit in 2020, and it jumped up to 10, and then 10.1, which is huge, and because people had nothing to do, so they were on things. So they're spending 10 hours on there. And then, interesting enough, it dropped down in 2022 this year, because we were selling mostly specs. We were presenting specs, so you didn't have the amount of offerings that you could offer a buyer. Design Center, here's our total sales in Design Center from 2007 to today. So we did like $10 million in 2007. It kept getting bigger, and then a lot of this is dependent on how many homes we sell. So in like 2019, we sold 900 homes. In 2020, we sold 800 homes. In 21, we sold 800. So we're doing about 45 million in sales right now. We had up to 50 million that one year, but we're pretty happy with that.
Pretty good. We have 5 minutes. We've already blown our deadline, but we're going to go 5 minutes longer, because then folks will still be able to get to the boardrooms. But,
so what works well? We got great customer service, electronic version of options, making the technology and options integral part of the presentation, visualization, transparency. Buyers knows costs. We put costs on everything. Great selection, good, better, best. And we sell the sizzle, not just the steak. And we retailing merchandise is the way we do it, and we have things that people don't buy a whole lot of, but we show it anyway. So we'll show Bertazzoni appliances, high-end Italian stuff. We'll show Sub-Zero Wolf, high-end American stuff. We've got a Moen U shower. There's a voice-activated shower that turns on the shower, and you just say, "Mow and shower, please turn it to 100 degrees," and it takes the shower. There's no knobs in the shower and things like that. We show that in our design center. Follow the buyer's journey and include every aspect. And so that buyer's journey, know where they're going and kind of map that out. Barcode merchandise, we talked about that, partnering with some manufacturers. So we try to partner with manufacturers to make sure we have the optimum amount of selection as well as price and quantity and things like that. We work hard at that. Reporting to monitor results, sales per hour, wish list usage, time on site, all that stuff. We measure everything. It's just important. If you're running a $45 million operation, you better know what you're doing. Retail open to buy, using data to merchandise. So we use past data to help us merchandise. Now, we're not going to do that totally because there might be something that comes along and we go, we got to jump on this. We need this product and things like that. So we got all the trade shows. We're very active in what's going on in the market. We're really attuned to design trends, and we kind of stay up with that. Selling by lifestyle and not square foot. So for instance, people don't buy flooring per square foot, they buy it by room. So we sell it by room. We have a thing called suggested retail areas, and we are hard surface areas, and 80% of our buyers buy flooring a certain way. They keep carpeting in the bedrooms, and they put hard surface the rest of the house. And so that's how we package it, and that's how we price it. And it's make it simple for the buyer, and the buyer knows exactly how much it is. And the design center is a store. And it's not anything else but that. So here's our challenges and frustrations with platforms and things like that. Even though we think we have a pretty good system, we think it could be improved tremendously, and we just need help. So much manufacturer content is inconsistent, incomplete, and not compelling. The manufacturers have to do a much better job of talking to the customer and getting that information across. Right now, that's not important to them. Many people do a great job, others don't do much. We found that the flooring industry is far lagging in data. I'd say half are doing a good job, half are doing an adequate job, another 25% are doing an adequate job, and 25% are embarrassing. And we've got to get to those guys. Many manufacturers don't comply with good, better, and best. What they want to do is they do good, and that's their stock, basic, standard item, and they do best, which is where they make their money. They're concerned with their money versus our buyers buying. Our buyers buy in the middle. If you look at a bell curve graph, they buy in the middle. They don't buy the high-end stuff all the time. They don't buy the cheap stuff all the time. So it's in the middle, and merchandise.
2-minute warning. 2-minute warning.
Okay. Sales are not flexible enough to provide a great buyer experience, and that's promotions. So we want to do promotions. We want to be able to put something on sale and show the buyer has it. Our systems don't allow us to do that. You know, we need to have that flexibility.
What's the wish list for you guys?
Yeah,
We do.
and I'd like to hear what can we do to have a sale button or a promotional button or things like that. Sites pale in comparison to Amazon, Airbnb, Carvana, eBay, Target, and Apple. Our sites, the people are looking at those sites way more than our sites. They got to look better. Our programs have to look better. Our platforms have to look better. Most builders do not use capacity of platforms. No kidding. Very few builders in the country use a digital design center. My guess is 10% use it and 90% don't. Get with it. Builders lacking of uniform front. They're not uniform. They're scattered. They're all over the place.
Can I just ask the platform providers, are you standardized on what you're looking for from the manufacturers on the contributions? Do you guys feel like you're all asking for basically the same thing? Because we want to get more manufacturers to comply. They don't want to have 17 different things to contribute because there's all these different platforms. But to the extent that you can standardize on a set of assets that really do the trick for you, it's going to help Dennis out.
Gift with purchase, purchase with purchase, buy one, get one. These are all retail concepts that we should adopt. And we should use this in our promotion because then we'll just increase sales. The retail business has been doing this forever. You go to a counter of a Macy's or a Nordstrom, and you see what Estee Lauder is doing, and you see what their promotions are. But we've got to think like that. How is Nordstrom doing it? How is Target doing it? How are these guys doing it?
Amazon has a little treasure box that you open, like, it's
Yeah.
like, oh, they put something secret in there, and
Yeah.
the idea of treasure hunting at like a TJ Maxx or something like that is like the inventory disappears. It's only there for a limited time, so you go and you have urgency. I mean, a lot of stuff to play around with.
Lack of integration with builder systems, so the builder kind of doesn't integrate, and they kind of run this one and run this one, and it kills them. You've got to integrate their system. As Frank said, you don't have to do it right at first, but eventually get it done. We make a terrible mistake. Fragmented industry is slow to change and not open for new ideas. This is our age-old thing, and we could talk this forever. Builders that see themselves as competitors rather than the used house market. And we've talked about this all week, and we really have to look at the other guys.
That was
I'm all
great.
right.
That was great stuff. We had great platform presentations, and I think we got the essence of what works, what some of the problems are, and the fixes are up there on the slide. And thank you to our panelists. Thank you all for getting here early in the morning, and hurry off to your boardrooms.
Thank you.